What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dear Video Games Podcast, our open letter to our favorite hobby. My name is Curtis, and I write about games, and I'm joined with fellow gamer and Bay Area rapper Voltaire Slapadelic. What's going on, man?
Not much. Doing good. Feeling
A lot better.
better. Yeah. The deep state tried to poison me yesterday, but I persevered.
I persevered. If you guys did see me kind of looking off like into the distance, it's because I actually wrote down the intro because I kept messing up for the last couple of episodes. I was like, wait, it's the Dear Video Games Podcast, and then I would say my name, and then I'd be like, oh, it's our open letter to our favorite hobby. I actually wrote it down, so I was like, let me read it.
Hold on. What is my name?
Yeah, what is
Billy Joe? I don't know.
I don't know. Is it Dear Video Games? I don't know. Now let me actually switch over to my actual notes for the. I mean, we have such a big podcast today. Huge.
Yeah,
podcast.
a bunch of stuff's been happening. Like
too much stuff.
Hella didn't expect there to be a direct today. Like,
yeah.
I like that Nintendo doesn't even announce them anymore. You just wake up in the morning and Nintendo's like, "Oh, this is what you're doing at 2 p.m. today."
Yeah, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. I don't even know really where to start. I don't know if you got my message, but I was like, hey, if you want to write, because it's the month of love, and I was like, Voltaire, if you want to write a love letter to gaming, go ahead and do it, and you can recite it on the podcast.
Well, I didn't write anything.
I don't think you read anything, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write something.
Yeah.
And I got something, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna recite it real quick, okay? All right.
Do it.
Let me get
and I'll rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
All right, 1 to 10. Here we go. Now this is 21 games by me.
Oh shit.
I just want to chill and twist the lie. Catch stunts in my 745. You drive me crazy gaming. I need to see you and feel you next to me. I provide everything you need in gaming. I like your smile. I don't want to see you cry. Got some questions that I gotta ask gaming. I hope you can come up with them answers, gaming. Gaming. It's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me? Gaming. Is it easy to love me now? Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me? Gaming. Thank you.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be, slam poetry, but it was a great touch. I enjoyed it a lot.
If you guys are sitting there thinking, you know what, I've heard of that before. No, you haven't. Don't worry about it. You guys have not heard of it before. No, not at all. You guys.
That was just an original. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally big time original. Big time original.
Yeah.
Because we had so much, man, we have so much to talk about. Let's go ahead and finally get into it, Voltaire. So let's start with some smaller news. It's small, but it is very big. That's what she said. It's big news, very big news that Gardens is a brand new development team that is working strictly remotely at the moment. I don't know if they'll come together, but it's a development team called Gardens. They are made up of former Skyrim, Journey, and Spider-Man developers. You guys can follow them at.
Those are 3 real bangers.
No, like really though. Obviously, this team is gonna have a lot of talent on it, and they're just the artwork that surrounds this development team right now looks good, and it's like you guys.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen them, but it looks like they're gonna have a lot of great ideas.
You said you can follow them. What was it on Twitter or something?
Yeah, you can follow them on Twitter on Gardens Devs on Twitter, and it looks like a whole bunch of people got together from these great video games that worked on these great video games. They're gonna be making games, and I wish nothing but the best of luck to them.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, so they really just started. Like they don't even have. That's interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, when they kind of announced it, a lot of big, websites really started catching up on it and was like, yo, these are some really seriously
Yeah.
good people, seriously good developers that are making a
Yeah.
development team, and they're going to be making video games. So I can't wait to see what they do. Good luck to
Yeah.
them.
I mean, I've said a bunch of times Skyrim is like, my Bible right now.
Oh my
But
goodness, we love it. We love it.
it's
We love it.
yeah, it's but and I assume you mean you're referring to Spider-Man PS4, the Insomniac game,
I'm pretty sure it's the
which is
Spider-Man
just
PS4
a
one.
masterpiece in its own right.
It's
And
good.
then Journey, really,
I think it won
really
Game of the Year.
known.
I think it won Game of the Year.
Did it really?
I think it did.
Wow.
You can, I mean,
Well,
you can
I was
fact.
gonna say it's really under the radar.
Yeah,
but I guess
I can fact check myself, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Journey won Game of the Year. A few
I'm thinking
years
of the
ago.
right one, right? Where you're kind of like, it's that really pretty art style, and you're kind of like walking through like the desert. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like in a desert or something like that. 2000.
It's very artsy, like, yeah. It's one of those games. It's more of like just like a straightforward like piece of art. You know what I mean? Than it is
Right.
like a full-on game, because there's not all that much combat and everything.
Right.
And then there was all those games that tried to like emulate it, like Rhyme and stuff like that, which is like, it was okay, but it wasn't quite the same.
Exactly. Yeah, it did win back when it was the Spike VGAs. It won Game of the Year, and I remember that because I was like, oh, I must have played. I should have played that game. But yeah, very
Wow.
good game. Very
look
good
look
game.
at Spike TV having some culture. Surprised Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball didn't win.
Right. So where are we at? So Platinum Games wants to talk to Microsoft about kind of reviving Scalebound. If you guys don't remember, Scalebound was that game. It had this very edgy character with this dragon companion, and I was really excited for the game, and then ended up
It looks
Xbox
interesting,
got
yeah.
over it. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I heard about it was I forget which channel, but it was just one of those, kind of like this like news roundup sort of deal, and they just said that the first time, well, when it got canceled originally, that was when I first heard of it, and then people were showing all these footage of it, and I was like, that actually looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, Xbox actually picked it back up, and then they're like, actually, Xbox canceled it again, and then they're like, Nintendo's in talks to picking it up,
That's
and then they're
true,
like,
yeah.
Nintendo said absolutely nah. I'm like, stop doing this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the game. Exactly.
Just cancel it for good or release it. Like I've heard it's like basically done. Just
Yeah.
it looks good. It looks like a fun game.
Right.
Why not put it out?
The best thing I guess if people really want this game, the best thing I could say about it right now is that Microsoft is under kind of new ownership, kind of having a different direction now, and this kind of game would be the sort of game that they would kind of release at this moment, or be in production with, because obviously this game got canceled because Xbox and Platinum Games couldn't really come to a conclusion on what they really wanted out of this game, and it seems like right now under Phil Spencer, because I think Phil Spencer came in around this time the game first got canceled, or right before. I think the direction that that Microsoft is going, Xbox is going right now, I think this game fits that profile perfectly.
Well, and they keep saying that they want to actually be popular in Japan. You know what I mean? And so it makes sense to try to get these exclusives from Japanese developers. Like, I thought at first you were, because I actually read about that the other day and forgot about it, and then you reminded me of it before we started live, and I forgot about it even still. But so at first when you said they're talking to Microsoft, I was like, oh shit, is Microsoft going to buy Platinum Games? Like, I kind of associate them with like Nintendo, I guess, because of just Bayonetta. But they do all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, just little tidbits of news here and there, man. If you're enjoying the podcast so far, just make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Soul Dojo Gaming channel. Let's jump into the Nintendo Direct that I actually recorded you for your first reaction.
You were recording all that?
I was recording that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but yeah. Let's talk about one of the funnier things that kind of come out of it. Something I didn't really think that was gonna happen out of this Nintendo Direct. Real quick, overall, this Nintendo Direct was very sports heavy. It was kind of weird that it was that.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, that was a little surprising. Yeah, like overall, I thought it was pretty good Direct. Not all the games I was super interested in, but the sports games were surprising, and like, actually the most interesting of the ones that they announced, in my opinion, like that I hadn't already seen before. You know?
I completely agree with you. I think it was actually a good direct. I mean, I think everybody wants directs aren't gonna always blow you away. So now that we know
Yeah.
what directs are about, it's like,
Hmm.
okay, what good games are like what's good? What
Yeah.
good is gonna come out of it? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't have anything like really negative to say about it. It's
Yeah.
just that, I want that just one more thing,
Mm,
and then it's just, like every time one of those, the execs at Nintendo goes, actually, there's one more thing. It's like the greatest shit like that you've heard all week. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like it's like please show more footage of the next Zelda, or
Mm-hmm.
just tell us that Metroid Prime 4 is actually being made,
Mm-hmm.
because I kind of don't think it is anymore.
The
They
fun.
just pretend they never said that.
We'll start with that one more thing because they had that one more thing moment, and I was like, what are they gonna show? And I was like, the direct isn't leaning towards a Legend of Zelda thing. It isn't leaning
Hmm.
towards that.
Hmm.
It kind of gave. It was one of those things like what you were saying. The directs are really good, but like when you get that one more thing, it was Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and it's like I can't be
Hmm.
mad at that because that's a good
Yeah.
game, good franchise, and they're making a
Hmm.
third one. And it's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
big news.
It's cool that it's like a second party game, right? Like I guess that's what that's considered, because it's only ever on Nintendo stuff. Or does
Mm.
Nintendo actually make it? I don't really know. But um like, yeah, I've never gotten super into them, but we own all of the ones that are on Switch because my wife just absolutely loves those games.
Oh, great.
Yeah, just spent like many hours on each one
Yeah.
of
I
them.
played the first one and I was like, wow, this game is really like really deep. And then I was like, ooh, this game
Mhm.
is so hard too. What is going
I
on?
Yeah, I did not like it on the Wii because of how the controls were
Yeah, I
just an
got you.
abomination.
Yeah.
But and it is similar with the Skyward Sword remake on the Switch, where the controls are better,
Mm,
but still not great, because they didn't, you'd have to really just completely overhaul the controls to be like more
yeah.
traditional button controls,
Mm.
you know. But it is what it is.
It really is. So No Man's Sky is making its way to the Switch.
Oh shit, was that in the direct? I didn't even see that. What the fuck? Did I accidentally skip that?
I think you did. I don't remember you actually saying that. That's why I was like, if I say this, I think he did. I hope he saw it. Yeah, No Man's
How
Sky.
how is it going to do that? Is it just going to be on the cloud, or what's happening with that?
No, it's actually coming to the Switch. Like, it's actually coming to Nintendo Switch. Yeah.
That's fucking sweet, actually. I have
Mm,
it. I bought it on PS4, and I have it on my Xbox Series
mm.
S because it's on Game Pass. And man, that game is great. Like, I know it launched in just
So
like a real
bad.
bad state,
So bad.
but
Yeah.
it's one of the only examples of a game launching like that where the developer straight up just came out and was like, "Yeah, I was really full of shit. I made a bunch of promises. I got it
Mm,
over my head. I lied to people.
mm,
We're just gonna fucking completely redo the game and just do like a patch that's just an
hmm
entirely different game that was what it was supposed to be in the first place." And now, I mean, it's genuinely really fun game.
You know what?
It's
You know
like,
what's funny about No Man's Sky that I think is like if No Man's Sky would have just dropped, nobody knew anything about it, nobody said anything about it. It just dropped. It's actually a really good game.
mm-hmm.
It actually has some pretty cool survival elements in it. Really
Yeah,
cool survival features that people wouldn't have people wouldn't have gave that game the way it was. Like people wouldn't have acted towards
yeah,
that game the way they did when it
yeah.
first dropped.
He kind of did. He kind of pulled a
The guy
Peter
from
Molyneux,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, he has these good games like Fable or whatever, but then he's just like, when you play this game for enough hours, you're literally turned into Jesus Christ, and it's just like, you can't just say that about your game, because it's
Yeah.
not
It's not really
gonna happen.
you already know it's
Yeah.
not true, yeah.
Yeah.
But some people are already kind of questioning how in the world is this game gonna run on the Switch? Like
That was my first reaction was, huh?
I
Like,
think the
how on
Switch
earth is that gonna happen without
yeah,
exploding the Switch?
I think the Switch can
Like,
handle the assets. I think it's just the vastness of the game the Switch might not be able to handle. Being
yeah,
able to
I mean, I guess.
go from the world to space
Hmm.
in a matter of a couple
Yeah,
of seconds, can the Switch really
yeah.
handle something like that?
Well, and I guess the graphics aren't like that next gen, I suppose. Like
Mm, mm,
the update to make it like to make it like quote unquote the X/S version as opposed to the Xbox One version, does look a lot better. And you can, like it's one of the few games where you can kind of immediately tell the difference between like 1080 and like 4K,
Yeah.
And but I guess on the PS4, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think graphically you're right. I think it's not too much for the Switch to run. It's definitely gonna have some kind of graphical downgrade.
Right.
Hopefully, it won't be as bad as like Outer Worlds was on the Switch. Like I usually don't care really that much about graphics, especially when it's on the Switch. Like that's not the point.
It's more of like a performance thing because I didn't
Yeah.
know how
Yeah.
bad. I mean, does it run
Yeah.
bad? Does Outer Worlds run bad on the Switch?
It looks so bad that even that even me, like I said, I see the Switch as a souped up Game Boy more than like a portable console. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really care about graphics as much on it, but I saw it and I was like, it's fucking
Well, what is this? What the hell?
no, what is going on? Yeah. Yeah, I
Uh,
played that on PC, so I guess that's the bias is I played it like at its most graphical and then saw it pretty much downgraded to Xbox 360 graphics, and it's a big drop. You wouldn't expect it.
Big time. The next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to keep going in this direct. I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit, but we'll still be all right. So we have Mario Strikers. Mario Strikers, what is the game called again? It's called Mario Strikers.
Yeah.
Goodness, what is it called?
Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah. Battle League. Mario Strikers Battle League. Now, when Mario Strikers Battle League, it looked really, really fun. The only thing that really scares me is I know you probably didn't see it in the direct because you kind of went through it, but like they said you can like add armor to like make your stats better. And I'm like, I see coins. I see that. I'm like, please don't have in-game purchases for this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Nintendo, at least on their console games, is normally pretty good about like you get the in-game currency in the game. Like in Mario Kart, you unlock it as you get coins while you're racing. There's no way to like
they're very well tapped into what that can lead to.
Like,
I got you.
When they do cell phone games, they're full on like bullshit. But like when they do like their actual console games, normally, like I really can't think of a game that they've done these kind of microtransactions with. Like
exactly,
they do a lot of DLC, but I don't have any problem with DLC. I think it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Like what's it called? Yeah, I don't know. It looks interesting to me. Like I used to really love games like NFL Street and NFL Blitz. And, I know it's not that football, but I think Nintendo, like there's very few games that even try to emulate that style anymore. And when they do, they're usually like really bad. And so it's like I feel like if Nintendo can do a game sort of in that style, but Nintendo-y for soccer, then maybe eventually we can get like a basketball or like a football, like NFL style like game from that, because I don't know, I think that kind of over the top Mario sports thing works for the most part.
It does look great, and I think you're right. I think that did worry me for a second, but I think that Nintendo hasn't really showed us that they do in-game currency that way, so hopefully it stays that way and it's not like that, because I saw that and I think it's just trauma that I have from that.
Yeah, it's
honestly.
just sports games. I just too much sports games.
Oh, no, don't do that. Next thing we have,
you got to get the loot box to unlock Wario.
Yeah, no, and then he's throwing the ball in with his hands. He's not even kicking it. Oh my god, that would be funny. The next thing, I think the next game is something that I think me and you are really excited for. It's Splatoon 3.
Yes.
So they showed I want to say they showed off this co-op horde mode where you're fighting this big, huge salmon, and it's like hordes of monsters coming at you. Yeah,
that was one of the ones where I watched like most of the trailer. I like skipped over little bits of it, but I watched like the meat of it, And because there was the swarm mode in Splatoon 2 with the where like you go to this island and you just tell us slaughter a bunch of like innocent little creatures that are coming up on the island, minding their own business.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Don't ask questions. It's fine.
I'm checking it out right now. It's just like it's very Splatoony, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I could describe it. But yeah, it's like
Yeah.
hordes of like fish coming at you, and you're just kind of
Yeah.
like taking them out. It seems so fun, like with your friends and stuff, and
Yeah.
like yeah, it
It's
seems like
such
a
a
great idea.
genius game. I never played the first one because
Mm.
it's on the Wii U, and
I mean, I think a lot of people played
the
this second
but
one. A lot of people
but
played the second one.
Splatoon 2 was like I didn't expect to like it. You know, I'm not
Mm.
usually you know. I mean, I wasn't sure if it was really the game for me, but I tried it out because it kept getting really great reviews and stuff. And
Mm.
yeah, I am just kind of a sucker for Nintendo games, but I just ended up loving it. Like I played
Mm.
it so much. I like actually got good at it. You know what I mean? Like I played it like I would do all the Splatfests and shit, and like
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I got hella into that game. Like
Really good
it's
stuff.
such a genius concept to take the online arena shooter game genre, you know, like
Mm.
your Call of Duties, and just Nintendoize it, you
Mm.
know, and it's so good. They prove that they can literally do any genre in their own style, and I think that's pretty cool.
It is a very creative game when you actually sit there and
Mhm.
think about how
Yeah.
what the game is about, it's intended to do,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very creative
And
game.
it's funny.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. Yeah. Are you inking me? Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
It has its own satire. It's great.
Are you for eels? No.
For eels. So we got a new trailer for Kirby the Forgotten Land.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kirby's eating cars, eating vending machines. And it looks very platformy. You know what? I'm gonna say this about this game right now. The game before this, I keep forgetting it because it was such a forgettable game, even though I played it all the way through, whatever. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, like the All Star Friends or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
This looks like they're serious about a good Kirby game now.
yeah,
This
yeah.
looks like an adventure, a real adventure that you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
go on. It's giving me those
Yeah,
Mario Odyssey
yeah,
vibes. Like that's what it's really
yes.
giving me. So has a story, big world. You're gonna be doing a lot of things, a lot of features, a lot of fun. That's what it looks
Mm-hmm.
like.
Yeah, it really takes you back to, and I said this before we started streaming. Like it takes me back to Kirby 64 and
Mm-hmm.
the Crystal Shards, which is a subtitle of a game that will always make me giggle. But it's just it was the last time they did like a pseudo 3D like kind of story driven like or like for that franchise like Kirby game, and it's so good. And this is kind of like the next evolution after that, where it's like actually a 3D platformer. And
Right.
yeah, and I think you know Kirby's like Sakurai's like baby, and it's the thing he's most passionate about. And I feel like how labs have been just working themselves to death making Smash Brothers for the past like
Mm,
20 years, and like barely get to just kind of like plop out a Kirby game here and there. And that's
yeah.
why they're usually these like free to play kind of things. It's just
Yeah.
not, you know, like Kirby deserves better. He's a great character, and I'm hella excited about this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and it's about to come out here next month, so very excited about it.
Everything's coming up hella quick. Yeah.
Very quick, yeah, especially this month. So we have Wii Sports, Nintendo Wii Sports, Nintendo Switch Sports. That is the new in the Wii Sports series. I guess it's the Wii Sports
Yeah.
series, and it's
So,
Nintendo Switch Sports.
when I was watching the trailer, I was kind of under the impression that it was a like a remaster of the
Mm.
Wii version, but is it a full
It's
on
a
like follow
full
up?
on brand new.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a full on. Yeah, like Wii Sports is the predecessor, and this is the
Hmm.
successor. I just wrote an article. It actually just got published while we are over here talking. Just wrote an
Nice.
article on it. You guys can go on sportsgamers.com, sportsgamersonline.com, and check it out. Yeah, it looks. I am so excited because Wii Sports really revolutionized, and it really got us to understand how important the motion controls were just for
Hmm.
just for Wii, just for the
Yeah.
Nintendo Wii, and it
It's yeah.
revolutionized like the way we play sports games and use motion controls. It really did.
Yes. It is unironically one of the best Wii games, and it one of, in my opinion, the best uh, uh, one of the best uses of the motion controls on
Mm,
the Wii. Like
mm,
I've never been a fan of motion controls. I've had trouble keeping my hands like steady enough to like
yeah.
do some of the more precise stuff. And but so there's like a short list of games that I think nailed the Wii control. So it's like the Mario Galaxy and stuff. But Wii Sports is like
It's up there.
it's kind of the best Wii game almost, other than maybe Mario Kart. And like
because before
and
that,
this
other games tried it, but it's like it's not as responsive until this game came out, and it was super responsive. In the games, the sports that you played, like bowling, tennis, like those were so fun. The physics of the balls,
particularly
and
bowling,
stuff like that.
because it felt so much like real bowling. Like the other ones were pretty good approximation, but bowling, it genuinely felt like you were bowling, or at least like at the arcades where they have the virtual bowling. You know,
Yeah,
it felt like even more realistic than that. And I feel like the Switch Joy-Con motion controls are like just like a maybe like a notch better than the Wii were, and so I feel like it can only be an improvement, to be honest.
Exactly. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, I am so excited for this. I am so excited. This is one of my favorite games to come out of this
I know.
Nintendo Direct. I'm so excited.
It's so funny. Like yeah. Finally, I used for Mii's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can customize. We didn't see baseball in here, which I love the Wii Sports baseball. But from what we saw like badminton. We saw there's some football, there's some soccer in there. I mean, so it's gonna come with this leg attachment where you're gonna be able to do the soccer like shootout thing.
It's the leg strap from Wii Fit Adventure. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
With the Pilates ring.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
that. So
yeah,
I didn't. The funny thing is, I didn't know that. I should have.
Yeah. I actually have Ring Fit Adventure. I bought it. I have the Ring Con. It's hanging off my wall. I've never used it.
He's like, that just looks nice there. It's just gonna stay there.
Yeah, it's just the image, the idea that I'm working out. But
the idea.
I'm not.
I love it. Yeah, really excited for that. Volleyball's making an appearance in here.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
What was coming back? I know tennis is coming back.
Just like tennis, what was it? Golf and bowling, I think.
Golf will be coming in the fall.
Yeah.
That's what they said. Golf's going to be coming in the fall, and that soccer shootout game is going to be coming here in the summer. So that game comes out surprisingly in April. So really, yeah. And like you said, I'm going to make a real quick point that you said. Very surprised that this didn't like come with the Switch like the original Wii did. Because if you think about it, that's a package deal.
Because they were like, "Oh, we have 1-2 Switch, and that's gonna be like the kind of like a
that's right
ish thing." And it's like, why not just do Wii Sports? Like,
why didn't you use Wii Sports or something like that?
1-2 Switch, is it interesting? Like,
it's not interesting
in any way.
Couldn't you play like rock paper scissors on it?
I played it at a GameStop just so I could check out the like marble thing in the Joy-Con, which is genuinely pretty cool. But other than that, I was like, I'm gonna buy this game. Like, what
this
the
sucks.
hell?
Oh, that's funny. And then the last thing we'll talk about real quick is the Mario Kart Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. So this comes with a whole bunch of new, well, not new, but like refurbished,
a bunch of the
racing
courses from the older games. Yeah, I love when they do that. Like I got real into doing like time trials for a while on Mario Kart Deluxe, and the ones I was best at tended to be the older ones. Like I had like in the top like I was in like the top like quarter of the top 25 percentile, whatever you would call it, in like SNES Rainbow Road and like SNES Mario Circuit and stuff. Because I don't know, I think it's really cool how they're
bringing back
levels
and they're bringing back Coconut Mall. I was like, oh, I like Coconut Mall.
Hell yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next subject or segment, whatever. Something I wanted to start doing recently is actually break down whether you should buy or even wait for a sale or don't buy a video game. So that game this week is going to be Pokemon Legends Arceus. Me and you both have been playing it. I played it yesterday before we were going to do it, before we canceled the show for yesterday. But let's break it down. So a lot of the times I'm on Facebook or I'm on Twitter, and I was
actually just playing it while we were getting ready to do the show.
Perfect timing. Yeah. So let's start with the graphics. Now, I've seen a lot of people go on and on about the graphics. I don't understand it. I think the graphics look fine. I think
they look fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's moments where some of the textures are like a bit wonky, but mostly just like on the trees and the ground and
Mm,
stuff that you wouldn't normally really
mm.
notice unless you're like a stickler for that thing. And I have noticed a couple of times that if there's a Pokemon kind of in the distance, their frame rate will be like not even like a thing. Like it was one of the one of the bird ones. I'm so bad at remembering their names off the top of my head.
Okay,
Um,
Starly,
it,
is
it
it flying?
Starly, yeah, the
Yeah.
one that Starly evolves into, yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
and it was like going around this tree, and it was like,
Ooh, that's tough.
but stuff like that is very rare, and it
Mm,
was like in the distance. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
And
and
you know, I've seen loads of
yeah,
pop in and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
that's not even a graphical like
Like,
that's not
you
even really
know,
an issue.
it's not gonna be on the level of Breath of the Wild. It's
Mm,
doing that similar. It's doing the same kind of art style with the
mm,
anime-ish cel shaded, but it they're not technically Nintendo. They don't have, you know, that
mm,
like as much money as the Pokemon company has, Nintendo like is just they can pour like anything into making a Zelda game. You know what I
right,
mean? That's
right.
why it looks so pretty. But so it's not quite gonna live up to like that. But yeah, like I don't know, people were comparing it to like GameCube graphics, which first of all, GameCube graphics are good. I
Yeah,
don't know why people hate on game
yeah.
graphics. Those games aged really well for the most part. But
I think it's a little
um
bit of an
I,
overreaction, but
yeah,
yeah.
there's moments in Pokemon Arceus, or however you pronounce it, that are genuinely beautiful. You know,
Mm.
like you're up on a hill and you can see like the sunset and like all the little Pokemon walking
And
around
the
and stuff.
draw
It's
distance is like fairly decent, so
yeah,
yeah.
and it's like in the every single other thing about the game is so perfect
Mm.
that it feels kind of silly to even knock it for the
For something like
graphics
that, yeah.
because it's not like they're bad. It's just they're not quite what like a lot of people maybe were hoping for. But
Mm.
for me, this is the Pokemon game that I've wanted since I first played Pokemon. This is
Mm.
like how I imagined Yellow version in my head when I was playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like
got you. I got you.
I would
It
say
does have a
I
lot
bought
of
it day
things like that.
one. I
Mm.
haven't been that impressed with the Pokemon games the past few years. Like I tend to buy
Mm.
them and then not play them all the way through.
Mm.
But this was great. I hope this becomes the main Pokemon series because
Uh,
it is the best Pokemon game I've played. I'm pretty sure.
Definitely a lot of ideas that are coming from this game. I'm pretty sure they're going to carry to multiple other games because of course like this is like the first run that Game Freak has done with like the main Pokemon titles. So
Mm-hmm.
if you look at like Sword and Shield, like they tried to open it up a little bit, but this game opens it up even more.
Yeah.
It does more, and I
Mm-hmm.
think
It's a legitimately open world game. Like
yeah, it's
you know.
legit. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't say it's open world, but it's these huge, massive areas
Yeah.
that are begging
The
for exploration.
Yeah, and I think the what it like the structure of how you're in the central hub town and then
Hmm.
you go to these like really vast sort of like self-contained like sandboxes, I guess you would
Hmm.
say, or
I
open
got
world,
you.
like
I got you.
smaller open worlds, but
Mm.
like it's Monster Hunter World. That's
Mm.
exactly how that
Ex-
game was structured too.
When you said
Except
that, that works completely because we're
yeah,
gonna get to the gameplay part, but like literally, you see
the
these
difference
big
is yeah,
Pokemon.
it's so similar to
Yeah.
Monster Hunter World, but in my opinion, the difference is that this game is fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I did not like Monster Hunter World
Oh
at all.
man, I have my issues
The
with
game
that
felt
game.
like work.
That is true. That is very true. I think that's the best thing to take away from Monster Hunter World. It did feel like you were an actual
Yeah,
Monster Hunter doing his job. You're like, honey, I
yeah,
gotta go to work. I gotta go fight these
yeah.
monsters. These
I thought this
monsters
would
ain't
be
gonna kill
more.
themselves.
Yeah, I thought this would be more monster fighting and less like actual hunting simulator.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you had to do a lot of hunting. Okay, anyway, so story wise, now I'm gonna say this. I like this story because it's like the beginning of
Hmm.
Pokemon. Basically,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
fascinating.
it's really cool. So it's like a prequel, and
Hmm.
these people are scared of these things. They have no
Yeah,
idea what they are about. Your Pokedex is it's this. This is
it's a
what your
notebook.
Pokedex is. Yeah, it's a notebook. It's this,
Yeah,
and you're like,
I
is that
I
a
love it.
Caterpie?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
ain't got nothing on that. Don't know what
yeah.
it is. It can breathe fire. I
It
have
is
no idea what it is.
a Pikachu.
Oh, okay.
You ever heard of this?
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Oh, a Tyranitar. Yeah, that looks scary. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah,
Scary.
I'm gonna run away from this one. Yeah.
And so that kind of goes into the gameplay loop. We're gonna get to that, but I like the story. I like the fact there's no Pokemon. There's no Pokemon centers. There's no Pokemarts. There's no Pokemon gym leaders because all this is still new, and it's up to you to kind of go out and kind of figure it out and figure out what these Pokemon are about. And
It is such a brilliant take on Pokemon, and exactly like the perfect way to do, like, I think they might be testing the waters for this to be sort of like a hard reboot of the whole thing, you know, and it's absolutely the perfect way to do it. You know, they can do different periods of time. They can kind of make direct sequels and stuff. You know,
it's a good. It's really good.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I was really.
And the story's great. Like Pokemon has had some cool stories in the past. Like they don't really shy away a lot of times from like environmental like messaging and stuff like that. But this one is like genuinely like super unique for the series, and just like, yeah, I mean, I'd watch it if it was like an anime. You know what I mean?
I just think it's really cool that like it's set in this, I guess you would say, this feudal Japan era.
Feudal, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't see everybody with Pokemon, or you don't really fight too many, Pokemon trainers, because people are just still a little so not sure about them. What is the use for them and stuff like that. And you're kind of ahead of that movement of like being the Pokemon battler, the trainer, and somebody that's ushering in. There was a line in like the first 10 minutes or couple hours in the game. It was like, I believe, and somebody was like, sounded like this I guess you would say like this activist for Pokemon. It's like, people and Pokemon should live together in harmony. And I was like, oh my god, it's so true. If only they knew they did it. They did it.
Yeah, she was like, we're just now finding out about these animals, and we know nothing about them, and our decision is to go kidnap them and force them to fight each other. It's like, shut up.
Right.
Stop. Okay, we're just gonna be doing this for the next 500 years. Okay, chill.
Ash Ketchum will love it. Okay, that's what. Let's talk about the gameplay. So there is a gameplay loop. You gotta kind of fill out the Pokedex by kind of fighting with a certain type of Pokemon, or you have to see a Pokemon do like a certain move a few times. You have to catch it a few times, and it has this little loop. It doesn't, IGN 10 out of 10. It doesn't feel like work. It hasn't felt like work yet.
Yeah, because a lot of games have those gameplay loops, and for the most part, for me, they start off super addictive, and I enjoy it. But after a while, it just gets kind of boring, really samey, But it does not feel like that with this game, because it's just like, yeah, it's I guess because I've just been playing Pokemon since I was like 10 years old, and so it's like, it's such a unique take on it, where it's like, it's not about getting like one of each Pokemon and training up your favorite ones. It's about just going out there and just decimating the animal population.
Yeah.
And it's just and like it's very fun. It's like every time, like, and it has that checklist, where it's like, oh shit, okay, yeah, I need to see him use, Ember or whatever, and it's like, I like how they kind of surprise you with what Pokemon you run into in some areas, like anytime I see like a Gen 1 Pokemon, I'm like, like, I saw like Ponyta, and I was going around catching a bunch of Ponyta, and this is sort of towards the beginning of the game, and so all my Pokemon are like level 15, just about, and then all of a sudden this like 9 foot tall, like level 40 Rapidash with red eyes.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh look.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, like, there's no Poke Center or anything like that. You got to kind of like go out and like get the you have to go out and like get berries yourself. It kind of has this little bit of like a survival aspect to it. And these Pokemon are attacking. This is the first Pokemon game.
Yeah.
They will attack you. They will attack you.
Which makes so much sense. Like, why wouldn't they?
Yeah. Exactly. Why wouldn't they?
It's like a bear,
Yeah.
Like, what do you think it's gonna do?
Yeah. I really enjoy that side of the game, because it's like, I have to use my Pokemon to literally protect me.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's way more immersive. It's way more in line with how the world of Pokemon is portrayed in like the other mediums, you know, like in
Mhm.
like the
They're like
anime
cute
and the manga
and
and stuff. And
cuddly and stuff. But you know what's so good
yeah.
about this game that I do like, and I haven't really openly said this yet, is like
Mhm.
Pokemon are terrifying. They're freaking. I don't
Yeah.
know if they're scaling them correctly in the game, but these things are so much bigger in this game. So I don't know if like it's Luxio is a little freaking, I think it's a dog.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
electric dog. So you have yeah, Luxio. Anyway,
When that
Luxio's
when
like
that
this big.
Sphinx evolves into yeah.
Yeah, like the smaller one is, and the
Hmm.
Pokemon enthusiasts going to look at this video and like, "Whoa, you guys don't know what I know what it is. I can't think of it." But anyway,
There's like 900 of them. I'm not
it's
gonna remember all
Shinx,
their names.
right? It's Shinx is like this big, but then Luxio's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this. So it's like
Hmm.
Luxray must be like so
I know.
I'm like, "Oh
I'm
my
excited to
god."
evolve mine again.
I'm a 15-year-old kid that's probably 5 foot whatever, but
Hmm. Yeah.
these things
So
are huge.
I love the game's like sense of humor. It's one of the funnier Pokemon games, you
Mm.
know. And my favorite line so far is like right towards the beginning when they're like, "These Pokemon are running wild. We don't know a lot about them, and they're super dangerous." And then she goes, "You're like what, 15? You can go take care of it."
You can do it. You're 15.
Yeah,
That's like their
yeah,
logic. Like a 15-year-old,
yeah.
you can go capture really
Mhm.
mysterious animals for a
I mean, I guess
living.
it's
You can
better
do
than
that.
sending a 10-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I mean, I ran in their terror. Like I said, Ghastly is huge. I mean, and Ghastly's terrifying
I have
Pokemon to
not run
me.
into one yet.
Yeah.
I caught a the balloon one.
Oh, yeah, I know it's
Yeah,
Dalpoom or whatever. Yeah, I know what you're
yeah.
talking about. I know what you're
That
talking
thing fucking slaps.
about. This,
Like, that's what fucks people up.
I saw a Garvine. I mean, that's huge and scary looking. A lot of these Pokemon are just very scary. Like,
Yeah, especially like the alpha ones. I
mm,
saw alpha Parasect,
mm,
and it was like it's gonna haunt my nightmares for weeks.
yeah,
You know, it's just this giant crab that's been like his whole body's taken over by this mushroom, and he's
hmm
just like,
hmm
I'm like, holy shit.
So a lot of these Pokemon are
That
kind of
was
like, yeah, a lot of these Pokemon are kind of like possessed by like Arceus's like
yeah. It's like
presence or
Pokemon
something
the
like that.
Revenant edition. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it was funny when you were talking about like Monster Hunter, and I was just like, oh, I could kind of see why it was because that you have these big like alpha Pokemon out
Hmm.
in the wild that are like monsters and stuff like that. But yeah, that's part of the game. But the gameplay, like we said, the gameplay loop is dope.
Hmm.
Going around, kind of catching these Pokemon is great, and it's really fun. It's a really fun game. But like I was saying,
Yeah.
what I like about this game the most is like Game Freak is they're actually taking risk, unlike they did with Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield,
Yeah.
Pokemon Sword and Shield was a very safe Pokemon game.
Hmm.
Very safe.
Hmm. Yeah. Like, so I got, I played Gens 1, 2, and 3 as they came out when I was, a
Yeah,
kid.
me
I was
too.
like elementary school through like 8th grade, I think, when Ruby came out. And uh and then I just like I liked Ruby enough, but I just kind of wasn't interested in it to keep buying the Pokemon games once I got my DS, you know. And then the next time I got one was Moon for the 3DS,
Mm.
and I mean it's a good game, but it was just like, oh, okay, it's been 20 years and the games are still
Still the
basically the same.
same.
Like
Still the
they
same
changed
though.
up some enough of the stuff to
Mm.
like keep it fresh. Like it
Mm.
wasn't like boring or anything like that. But it's just it's it's just like relatively short for a Pokemon game.
Mm.
Like nothing super groundbreaking in it. Sandwiched in between the most like longest, most unnecessary tutorial in the history of video games, and then at the end, a 40-minute credits that you can't skip and you can't turn it off because it won't save until after.
Hmm. Yeah.
I had to plug my DS in because it
Yeah.
was gonna die.
Uh, Before we move on to overall what we what we what we what we think about the game. Two things about the gameplay I do want to stick out on. The funny thing is you said like the long tutorial. I actually think this game has a very long tutorial, almost dragged on a
Yeah,
little too long. I think it held a hand a little too long, and I think that's one of the things I don't like about it.
it does fall into the Pokemon trap of having too much tutorial. It
Mm,
doesn't, not nearly to the extreme of Sun and Moon. I didn't play Sword and Shield because it just didn't get good reviews, and I was already burned by Let's Go Pikachu. It's just
Let's Go Pikachu. Got
ugh,
you.
ugh.
Got you.
But but what's it called? Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought.
What, the Pokemon Legend Arceus? Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's really more of like a full on RPG. I feel like it is gonna be like a real long story.
Yeah, totally.
It's keeping me interested.
The battling, they didn't change it massively, which is great, but they did add in the strong, well, the physical style, and then they have the agility style or agile style, which I think that doesn't change it a lot, but it does a good job of like integrating itself in.
It's a cool little tweak to the system, and I one of those things I didn't feel like I would have used a lot, but I tend to kind of use it a lot because it's just like, oh well, I just get a hit in real quick, you know what I mean? And like but I really like the way they do the battles. It's like people have criticized Pokemon ever since the series moved to more modern graphics, like with the 3DS and like Pokemon Stadium and stuff, even where it
takes you to another instance.
Yeah, and it would never show both Pokemon on screen at the same time being attacked or whatever, you know. And it was like people started saying that they're cutting corners and everything. I feel like they finally like heard that, and they're like, yeah, I've played Ni no Kuni. Let's do that kind of battle system. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can walk around, like I distract them by just like having them get into the battle, and then I just walk right up to them and just
Yep. And it's seamless. It's right then and there. It doesn't matter. I had my Luxio literally fought another Pokemon. He was on a rock, the other one was on the ground.
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah,
I was like, oh, this is happening in real time, and the fact that you can walk around the fight and just see it happening. Other Pokemon, if they're close enough, they'll jump in. Like he calling homies over.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
I almost got beaten because this Geodude just called in one of his freaking Zubat homies, and it was so irritating. It's like the two most annoying Pokemon to run into in the wild. Yeah.
I like that. I hope they continue with that type of battling style, because just to run into a Pokemon and then all of a sudden you go into a different instance or a different scene, and then it has like this generic scene of like you just the Pokemon and the Pokemon fighting. I hope it's just like, I want to fight that Pokemon right now. Throw it and it happens right then and there. I hope they keep that.
The old style works great for older consoles. You know, it works great for the Game Boys, but like, you know, I'd really like seeing it brought back into a more modern thing. You know, and a lot of like RPGs that have been around for a long time, and they just that people, I guess they just feel like people don't like turn-based RPGs anymore, so they always want to like change it up like super drastically, and it's very hit and miss in my opinion. Sometimes I play them just like, I don't like this combat at all, but this is a good like in between of that, where it's still the classic Pokemon battle system, but it's changed enough to make it feel very like original and new.
Overall, so do you think people should buy it, wait for a sale, or just stay away from it?
I mean, you should definitely buy it. Like, there's no such thing as wait for a sale when it's a Nintendo game.
That is very true. That is very true.
It's like wait 5 years and you can get it for like
probably get it
45 instead of 55. Like, it's not.
I think it's one of the biggest. It's gonna be one of the bigger Nintendo games to come out this year. So I think people should buy it because it is a good game, and I've heard a lot of people really enjoying it. So yeah, if you are listening to this right now, and hopefully we didn't spoil anything, go ahead and get it because it is a good game. And like I said, Game Freak is taking some risk. They're trying different things, and that's what I like about the game.
The writing's good. The story is great. It's the like all the stuff that they changed is things people have been wanting them to change for decades. It's it's strong contender for Switch Game of the Year, strong contender for best Pokemon game ever. Like, I have not even if it continues to be as fun as it is all the way through the game, it'll be my favorite Pokemon game ever.
Bam. Hey, he said it first here on Dear Video Games, man. Dear Video Games podcast. Volta Slapadelic. Let's get out of that. Make sure you guys can go get Pokemon Legends Arceus now on the Nintendo eShop, or go to your nearest GameStop, Walmart, wherever, Best Buy, wherever you go, Funko Land, wherever you go to get games.
I ordered mine from Target with my regular groceries.
Just plop it in right next to the
Yeah,
pineapples.
there's the hot sauce and the lettuce, and then there's Pokemon
Rice.
Arceus.
Oh, who got this game here? So moving on, Sony actually bought out Bungie. That I think that was last week that
Like,
happened.
what is happening right now? Like, I mean, I know what's happening. The video game industry is consolidating into literally just those two companies plus Nintendo.
Right.
But it's just weird to see it happen.
Mm.
Like, it happened so incrementally and slowly since like the 90s when some stuff like this started happening to the past like year. It's just been like that.
Mhm.
Like it's wild. Like
Mhm.
I never thought anyone would buy freaking ZeniMax. Like they didn't even buy Bethesda. They bought Bethesda's parent company, which is this huge company. And then it's like, and then Activision Blizzard, and so
Microsoft snagging
so
them too.
Xbox,
Yeah.
so Xbox, Crash Bandicoot is now a Microsoft first party character. So then in response, Sony buys the people who made Halo.
Well,
like, what is this topsy turvy
the
world?
funny thing is they came out and said this is not a direct response. This has been in. They said I think they said it was in the works for about 5-6 months, and it's gonna take 4 or 5 months for the deal to go through.
Yeah.
A lot of people are asking me, hey, does this mean like Destiny did it? No, I think I think Bungie wants to actually move away from Destiny. Destiny, all the content will remain on every console. I think what I think this is going to entail is I think Sony and Bungie are going to work on a brand new title together. That's what I think is going to happen, and it will only be on PlayStation.
Yeah. It's going to be a sci-fi first-person shooter called Circular Planet.
Circular Planet with aliens on it. And a green dude that runs around.
Yeah, don't think too much about it.
So we'll see what happens with that. Microsoft. Phil Spencer came out and congratulated him. You know, he really is a good sport. He really is. Phil Spencer.
He's great at he's good at doing that whole, you know, he's the whole image, you know what I mean? He could run for office, I think. He's very charismatic. He knows how to, like, you know. But to be honest, like,
Sony, you're great.
The stuff that he actually does implement is normally, like, I think pretty good. You know, I like Game Pass and all that good stuff. I just, you know, I don't like that all these huge trillion-dollar companies are just buying each other up, and it didn't turn out well when that happened with cable or the radio, or you know what I mean. And so I feel like it's not going to be like good as this continues. But like, it's just, you know, I am glad that they bought Activision Blizzard, because then they can, you know, you can just beat the shit out of Bobby Kotick if they want to. It's fine. But other than that, I feel like we're kind of treading on danger, because now all the conversations are, who is Microsoft or Sony going to buy next? You know, Microsoft tried to buy Electronic Arts like several years ago. Are they going to try to do that again? You know, I think it was Pat the NES Punk that said he thinks they're going to buy like a Japanese company next, like maybe Capcom or Konami. And it's like, nothing is like unbelievable to me anymore. You know what I mean? It's like,
I don't disagree
almost
with you
nothing
at all.
would surprise me. Yeah,
I don't disagree with you at all, because while when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, it was exciting. I don't agree with you at all. I think when you look at the big picture, you're like, okay, what is really going on? Like, why are we monopolizing video games? Why is Microsoft kind of doing the Disney thing? And it's like, okay, right now let's stop. Like, let everybody be cool, because I could have sworn Bungie kept saying we're away from Activision, we're away from them, we're gonna be independent again. And then now they got bought out by Sony again. So it's like,
I mean, I guess that's about as away from Activision as you can get now.
That is so you are on two different sides of the spectrum. You won't even wave at each other high in the freaking hallway. You won't even work in the same office.
No, and I'm in total agreement. I've never been a fan of all these like monopolizations and stuff. You know, like you know, Disney and everything. Like the short term like benefits of like cool Disney Plus shows or like whatever it shouldn't distract from like the bigger picture, like you said, of like it's bad when there's big monopolies. Like look at the internet. Look at like Facebook and Google. They can literally just do whatever they want because they don't have any competitors. You know. And so it's not a good thing. The only reason that I'm okay with it with Activision is because it probably means that something will be done about, all that whole just shitty circumstance of all
Mm-hmm.
the like,
Mm-hmm.
sexual harassment and
Yeah.
abuses and stuff. And it sucks that it has to come to that in order to
Mm.
stop it.
It's
But
true, and I think
outside of that, I just think it's not a good thing.
yeah, in a company like that, um, yeah, like you said, I was very okay with that. But if anything like an EA goes, I'd be like, okay, there's
Hmm.
something wrong going on because
It would
whether
be, yeah.
whether I always get on EA's ass all the time or not,
Hmm.
that's a big company that isn't in the same
Yeah.
situation as Activision was.
No. Yeah, and I feel like they would be worth way more money.
Mm,
Like I feel like what I read. Like I remember hearing about this like many years ago when like G4 was still like a thing.
mm,
They were saying like there was like this whole like news thing about how the Microsoft attempted to buy EA, but at the time just couldn't afford it, and so
wow.
and I mean, and then now it's been 15 years or whatever. They
Mm,
could buy the fucking moon if they wanted
yeah,
to.
yeah.
So I just really wouldn't put anything
Did I
past them.
was
But
I on
like,
this podcast last time and I said I think there was maybe they approached them, but I think there was like a little bit of a power struggle.
oh,
Maybe there was like
that
a
was
pushback.
Nintendo.
That was Nintendo,
They
or
tried
did
to
I
buy
say with
Nintendo
EA?
and got laughed out of the
Yeah,
room.
they did that, but I think
Yeah,
with
yeah.
EA it was the same situation. Not that they didn't get laughed out, but I think
Hmm.
EA was like, no, we want to call the shots on
They
what we do.
yeah they asked
Yeah,
for like $100 billion or something ridiculous like that in like
wow.
2003. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's like just nobody has
There's
that money in
nobody has that
2003.
money. Nobody has that
Yeah,
money in
yeah.
2003.
But nowadays
It could happen.
Microsoft hella has that money.
Well,
But yeah, and like people are like, oh well, what if they buy, like you said, EA or Capcom? It's like that would be really alarming
mm,
because EA is doing fine. I mean, their games suck for the most part, but
mm.
financially they're doing fine. It would just be a monopolization thing. And Capcom does. I don't know why
Konami
they keep getting
would
brought
make
up.
more sense to me.
Konami would
Konami,
make more sense
yeah,
because they're
they're kind of crap right now. The Hideo
kind
Kojima
of
left in
dying more or
2015.
less. Yeah,
He's done. They're
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Um,
I feel like that
yeah.
would make more sense because Capcom. I mean, they're actually doing good right now. They've been
Mm,
releasing hit after hit, and
mm,
yeah,
mm.
they're kind
Yeah,
of on top of it.
Konami
Kind of at
needs
their
a
peak
little
right
bit
now,
more. They're
almost.
kind of suffering with an
Yeah,
identity crisis, so I could kind of see them getting picked up. eFootball is a crap football game, so it's like they need a lot of
Konami's like,
help.
yeah, they're like sitting on all these like great things that they could, Silent Hill and Metal Gear and all of that
Mm.
stuff, and that they could do all these new original things with, and instead they're just like, yeah, what the fucking was it Pachinko or whatever? Like, isn't that
Yeah,
like
they're
the
doing
Price is Right
something.
thing where they're
Yeah.
knocking it? Yeah, it's what is going on?
um, finishing off the show with something I think it's really good news. Rockstar has basically confirmed that they're doing a brand new GTA game that came out earlier this week.
I've been hearing about that. It's one of those things where at this point I'll believe it when I see it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's like I saw this tweet the other day that said the PlayStation 2 had 3 Grand Theft Auto games. Grand Theft Auto 5 has had 3 PlayStation generations.
That is true. That is very
It's like
true.
make another game.
Yeah.
Like come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just do something, like
It's
you've just been milking this game for like 11 years, like
mm,
which is worse than Skyrim because at least Bethesda's come out with other shit since then. You know what I mean? Whereas
well, Rockstar
Rockstar
has
just,
too. I mean, Rockstar's done. They did Red Dead. They did
that's
Red
true.
Dead.
I forgot. About that first.
I think
Oh
everybody's
yeah,
forgetting about Red Dead.
that absolute masterpiece. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think with GTA 5, it is getting milked to death because it is one of the biggest pieces of media
Mm-hmm.
out there. But it's done its job. But I think this next GTA game, it's gonna have to be pretty nuts. And
Yeah.
they don't say GTA 6 particularly, but they're talking about there's a GTA 6
That's what
on
they're
its way,
talking about. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
most people know. But I'll read out what was said
Sure,
in
yeah.
this little blog post or whatever. So it says, many of you have been asking a new entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. With every new project, our goal is always to significantly move beyond what we've previously delivered, which is hard with GTA 5. That is pretty hard. We're pleased to confirm that the active development for the next entry in the series is underway. So
GTA 6.
yeah, GTA 6. The next
I mean,
entry, I'm pretty sure they're working on
yeah.
something. I think a lot of the rumors, a lot of them a lot of them, and maybe even all of them, are all hit or miss. The only thing I believe with Rockstar that has been a rumor or has been a leak is I believe that it's going to be in Vice City.
I do believe that
I
too.
do
Yeah,
believe. I
it
think
just
there
makes
will.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah, and
4 was Liberty City, and then
mm,
5 was
it
San
just makes
Andreas.
sense, right? It makes sense. One thing I'm gonna say right here on Dear Video Games, and when it gets announced, I'm gonna pull up this clip. I think there's going to be 2 protagonists, 1 male and 1 female. I do believe that.
Yeah, I mean, the switching between the 3 protagonists in GTA 5 is awesome. That's what
Mm,
I, it's great. So yeah, I hope they at least do something like that. You know, I feel like they would either just stick with like that kind of format where you're switching between different characters, or
mm,
just let you like create a character,
yeah.
like in an RPG or whatever. But they're so strict about adhering to their specific storyline that I
Hmm.
don't think they'll ever let you do a create a character in single player mode.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever really happen.
Yeah.
Another thing I
And
think is I think they're going to be able to have you fly or go to an area that's their rendition of like a South American country, kind of like they did with
yeah,
Red Dead. I think that's going to
yeah,
happen.
I've been hearing about, like, the rumor was like a Cuba or Colombia thing, like,
Hmm.
it's got like to fit in with the Florida, like,
Yeah.
drug trade or whatever.
Mm.
Um, um, yeah, I wonder if it'd be cool if it was set in like the 80s again. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
I
Um,
actually think that's where the
yeah,
in my own
especially if
opinion,
you're
I think
gonna.
that's actually where the leak is wrong. I think it isn't going to be set anywhere in the 80s because we're
That's
in
gonna be modern day, most
yeah,
likely.
it's
Yeah.
going to be modern day because we're in this HD universe, which what all the big wigs at Rockstar call it,
Hmm.
and all
Yeah.
their HD games have been in modern day America. So
Yeah.
I think that's where the leak got me really messed up. I was like, I don't know about
And
that.
one, my big persistent worry
Mm,
with GTA 6 is that it's gonna lean way more into this online focused, game as a service type of thing.
mm,
I just am not interested in GTA Online. I've played it like twice and just did not have fun with it. I love the single player game. It's
mm,
one of my favorite games.
yeah.
They're so good at doing single player stories. They're so good at writing stories. They're one of the best at doing satire in video games.
Yeah,
A lot of
that's true.
times video game
That's
satire
true.
falls flat, but it's so
That's
funny,
true.
and it's like I don't want them to lose that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, no,
It's been
100%.
some of the funniest games ever made ever since Vice City back in the day, and I would hate for it to just become this uh, pay to win MMO. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to play that.
To end off on that, I think you're 100% right. I don't know what they're gonna do with the online. I don't know. Maybe if you can like, I wonder maybe GTA Online becomes its own entity at some point where it's just like you have
That would
Grand
make
Theft
a lot of
Auto
sense.
San Andreas. You have like the San Andreas region of the game, and then you have like the Vice City region of the game. So you have Los Santos and Vice City,
Mm,
and maybe
that'd be
players can
interesting.
go
Yeah,
in between. So I don't
just
know. There's a
yeah,
lot that can go into
yeah.
it. Maybe it starts participating in this thing. I have no idea what it's called. And not when it's not that I don't know have what I it's not that I don't have an idea what it's called, but I don't really know what it is. Maybe it participates in this thing called the metaverse. I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, and oh my God, I didn't even think about that. But you're probably right. Fuck. It's probably going to be on the goddamn Mark Zuckerberg metaverse. It's going to be like NFTs and a bunch of stupid bullshit like that.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my God, I didn't even consider that until just now.
have, have no idea
Oh
what it is, but it's
no.
probably gonna be part of that. Oh no. Oh man.
Oh my God.
This has been the Dear Video Games podcast with Walter Slapadelic, and my name is Curtis Russell. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Soul Dojo Gaming channel. You guys can follow both of us. You can follow him at Slapadelic on Twitter. You can follow me, Callie, from the Dojo. That's
Mhm.
Callie with a K. You can see him at the bottom of the screen right there. Walter, do you have anything coming up, man? You wanna promote?
Yeah, I just recently launched a website, slapadelic.com. It's got links to all my music. You could stream the stuff that you could buy, and there's also some free downloads
Mm,
too. And I also started a store on Redbubble to like just make my own merch and put it up there. And some of it's like branded merch with like like an album cover or like like logo stuff, but other of it is just kind of like weird memes that I've made that I think would be good on a shirt. And so yeah.
I'm
Um,
still buying
yeah.
that pillow. I'm still gonna do it.
My friend bought it and then she put it on her couch and she sent me a picture of it and I'm like,
Oh, that's so awesome.
that's so awesome. Someone
That's
has a
so
pillow on
awesome.
their couch with
I
my face on it.
I
Just
think that pillow is so cool. I really do think it's cool. Like I like it. I
it's
like it.
like, thank you, man. Yeah, I've been meaning to do something with that like face image for like a while, like
Yeah.
make stickers or something out of
Yeah.
it. And now it's like, oh, it can be a shirt or a throw pillow or I think they did like shower curtains.
A shower curtain would be funny. um, uh, with with me, of course, you guys can find me on the Soul Dojo here. You guys can also find me on Sports Gamers Online and sportsgamersonline.com doing all type of writing about sports games and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll check you guys later. All right,
Yeah.
peace.